Hey, it's me, GV, and welcome to another Silksong guide. Ladies and gentlemen, this is the Coral Tower Gauntlets. Basically, if you don't know what this is, pretty much in Act 3, you have to do 3 big bosses to get the true ending. One of them is the Coral Tower, and this is kind of what represents, you know, the sands of Carrick area. Basically, I think there are either 4 or 5 gauntlets total, and you're going to have to get through all of them to get to the boss here. So this is going to be real rough. Now, basically, what I recommend is the Wanderer Crest. Again, I feel like when this game first came out, people did not like this crest, but it has worked amazingly for me. I love the Wanderer Crest. So pretty much how these gauntlets work is coral will come down, they will hurt you if you're standing where they are, and then it will summon enemies where they come from. So basically, if they come from the ground, you know that there are going to be enemies that spawn after the coral goes away. Now, these little conch flies are not too bad. They have low HP, and honestly, you really should do this stuff by the very end of the game when you have most of the upgrades and you've explored most of the map. Not everyone's going to do that, but if you do that and get as many silk upgrades and mask upgrades as you can and damage upgrades, you will obviously be able to do this a lot easier. These guys are super duper easy, basically just one hit and they are gone. Now, this guy to the top left is crazy annoying. This guy to the top left is probably the thing that actually makes this hard. Everything else is relatively doable, but yeah, he's one of these enemies that, like, when you get close, he kind of zips away from you. Super duper annoying. If you can DPS him down very quick, do it, especially with something like the Silksong Silk skill, something that's going to hit him multiple times and get him removed ASAP. These guys are not too bad. These little guys on the ground, like, honestly, they're really easy if you pogo them. They really don't have a lot of air moves, so you can kind of just pogo them until they're dead. And then these floating guys are basically just easier versions of the skinnier floating guys. So those guys aren't too bad as well. It's really just the super skinny flying guys that make this a giant pain. Also, a pro tip is that in between each gauntlet, they definitely leave these little enemies here so that you can build up silk and heal, because there are no benches until the end, or I guess there's not even a single bench. There's basically just a shortcut as far as I remember. So kill those enemies in between these gauntlets because they're there to basically give you heal. Now, also, I am using the Silk Shot as well, which is the, you get the broken tool and you can turn it into one of 3 guns. I'm using the Mount Faye version, and as you saw there, you can hit multiple enemies at once. It's actually really good for enemy control when there's too many and they're in a straight line, because it pierces through all of them. So definitely recommend that as a tool, but really you can use whatever you feel comfortable with. At this point, I have pretty much every single tool in the game. These big jellyfish are not that big of a problem. They kind of just slam and then they explode into like 5 smaller jellyfish. Just watch out for the big slam. That's about it. Also, now the gauntlets are going to zone you out with coral on the ground and walls and ceilings. So things are going to get even harder. Now, these guys are scarier than they look. You basically just want to be directly to the side of them or directly below them because they work off of angles, obviously. And then once again, we got this little guy up here, which remove him the quickest way you possibly can. I actually do a really bad job of removing him. I let him persist too much throughout these fights, and I really need to do a better job of killing him instantly. Whether with that silk skill that I have, which I don't use all that much, I honestly would have gotten much better use out of the Silk Storm skill during these gauntlets, or just shooting him with the Silk Shot. Whatever you can do, basically just remove this guy, because as you can see, he's just so annoying. He zips all over the place. Really, he is the only problem enemy for me during all of these gauntlets. And now we have a new big boy. This guy is really weak to pogoing as well, and he'll also create coral everywhere, which will damage you, so definitely try to get above him and pogo him, although keep in mind he will jump up, so you can't abuse that forever. Eventually, he will jump straight up and, yeah, stop you from doing that. So basically, you want to stay above him at all times, and then as soon as you think he's about to jump straight up, just dash to the side. Again, these little orange or pink dudes are nothing bad at all. Basically, they just die in one hit. And then also these floating shrimp guys are also not bad. They kind of just zone you a little bit with their thrown projectiles, but they're a lot slower than the really fast flying guys, so not that big of a problem. And then these guys are not that bad also. They'll just kind of like drill into either the, you know, the walls to the side of you or the walls below you. But again, they don't have a lot of HP, so you should be able to kind of just DPS them down. And they're one of those enemies that you can kind of just use to gain heal. Now, we have 2 of these guys, but it's not that bad. Definitely not as bad as those choir clappers or whatever in the High Halls Gauntlet. Those are way worse than these guys. Because, again, these guys are really, really weak to pogoing, as you can see here. I'm just kind of trying to pogo them to death. And I'm also using the quick heal tool, FYI. So if you see me get hit a whole bunch, the way I'm able to recover is that I'm just using my quick heal tool to basically just duck to the side and get a heal off. On to the next gauntlet. All right, so again, as soon as I see these guys on the left and right, I'm really happy because these guys are very, very easy. All you got to do is just stay above them. They really only have that jump, and that's about it. Very easy to take out, and also very easy to farm for heal silk. These little dudes, when you get close to them, they'll kind of zip around, so they're annoying. They're not too scary outside of that. You just kind of have to like sprint and attack them or hit them with a ranged option, such as the gun. And then once again, yeah, whenever I see these little mosquito-looking guys, I'm always not having a good time because those are the only guys that I'm actually really scared of. These little conch flies, not scared of at all because I know as long as I don't stay in the same spot and let them drill into me, I'm going to be fine. And not only that, I'm going to be able to farm them for silk. So again, whenever these coral spikes come out, just make sure you're not standing where they are and realize enemies are going to spawn. So you can get a preemptive hit on them too if you sort of like charge an attack and like release it, you know, when the coral spikes come out. You can get a preemptive hit. Again, the jellyfish, not bad at all. Another good target to farm silk. Just keep in mind he will explode into 5 upon his death. And then we got a new guy here, Bubble Boy. So this guy will spawn bubbles all over the place. Basically what you want to do is cut through the bubbles. You can see you can kind of break the bubbles if you just attack them. So basically break the bubbles and then attack him right afterwards. Nothing too scary there either. And then we got these little explodey guys, which I do take a hit there. So I'm wondering whether I should heal or not, but I'm trying to save it. Another tip, you can also kind of tell what enemies are going to spawn based on how big the coral spikes are. So since that one was huge, I knew that it was going to be this big guy, which, again, not too scared about. You can kind of abuse him if you just stay above him. And then here we go. This is the really hard part now. Now, basically, we have to hang on the wall, so you can use that Ascendance Grip tool if you wish. I've basically not used that this entire playthrough simply because I don't really need it. But if you don't like kind of sliding down, you can equip that and then stay on the side of the walls if you so need to. But otherwise, yeah, we want to use the hover, and we want to use the double jump, and we want to use the claw line to basically stay afloat on this wall. A lot scarier than, you know, it's a lot easier to do than it looks, basically. It looks very scary, but honestly, you have so many aerial movement tools as Hornet, it's not nearly as bad as it looks. And then finally, we should be coming to the end here. Bubble Boy is not too scary. He's just a little bit of a zoner. So I immediately see this little guy, and I'm like, well, I'm going to try to pogo him to death so I don't have to deal with him while I am dealing with the Bubble Boy. So again, you can just break the bubbles. If you have Silk Storm again here, that's really, really good because you can just get rid of all of his zoning. You want to be aggressive with him, though, because he does not have that much HP. And then we got these easy guys in the middle, and then these really fast guys on the left and right as well. So really good targets for AoE or the gun here to try to wait for them all to be on the floor and then shoot them. I'm not sure if I do that here, but that is a really good strategy if you have any sort of ranged option or the Silk Storm ability and just hit all of them at once. I'm actually getting hit by this guy way more times than I should. And then finally, we have 2 giant jellyfish here, which again, not the biggest deal. They just hit you really hard if you do get hit, but they only do that one kind of like dash into you attack, and that's really it. Honestly, the fact that I got hit by this thing like 3 times is disgusting. I'm sure everybody knows when you just start losing your footing, it becomes really easy to get hit multiple times. And then now, finally, we are on to the last gauntlet here. So we've got these 3 platforms, and I believe one of them goes away at a certain point in time. I see these 2 skinny guys, and I'm immediately like, well, that's fine. I don't have to worry about that, because, again, they're just so weak if you just pogo them. And then this flying guy, again, not nearly as bad as the small flying guy, so I take him out relatively quickly. And then we have Bubble Boy, and we have these little ant guys. Now, keep in mind, during this gauntlet, you can shove the enemies into the spikes, and they will instantly die. So, for instance, if one of those ants spawn, you can basically hit them, and, you know, if you hit them off the side of the platform, they'll just die instantly. It's kind of tricky, but if you can do it, you'll get some breathing room. So here we got the big jellyfish again, and yeah, I don't know what it is. I mean, honestly, the fact that I got hit in this video so many times from that stupid jellyfish is insane, because they're not really that hard. So right there, I shoved that ant into the spikes, so he's just gone immediately. Again, these guys are not scary at all, so I'm all good. I'm always wondering here if I should charge up a charge attack in between rounds. I'm going to pogo off of this red guy just to make sure he's out of the picture very quickly. I also pogo the little guy as well, which you always want to do if you can. If you can pogo enemies, in this game, that's just a lot of enemies' weaknesses. A lot of enemies' weakness. And that is it, ladies and gentlemen. Make sure to use the new move you got before this hurts you. I don't actually know if it does or not, but it seems like it was going to. And if you need a guide for this boss coming up, check the channel, because there will be one for him as well. Thanks for watching. Hey, it's me, GV, and thank you for watching that video. If you would like to see more, there is a ton of bonus completed series and more to come on the Patreon right up here. Also, check out these videos. And then finally, if you would like to support this channel and become a member, you can do so by clicking join under the video, and you'll get early stuff. Thanks for watching, and I'll see ya in the next video.